thank you guys for all the support that you guys been offering on the channel. If you guys didn't check out the last video we uploaded roughly 2 or 3 days ago, talking about Warriors winning the championship, and we done a build of all the players or the key players on that championship team, go drop a like on that video, go check it out. But regardless of that, I'm going to be doing a video that's going to be a little different today. This video is going to be ranking my top 10 players of all time. As you guys can see right here, I literally have all 10 of them here, okay? Now, a little disclaimer, well, a couple of disclaimers before I hop into this video. This video, or the picks that I make in today's video, are subjective, okay? Your list will be entirely different from mine. You may agree with my list, you may disagree with my list, and that's fine, okay? Now, another thing that I want to make clear in this video, and I want you guys to start doing this, whenever y'all do ranking videos, like if you're going to be ranking, you know, like anything, regardless of if it's players or, you know, cars, clothes, shoes, whatever it is that you're ranking, don't slander one thing without giving it praise, or don't praise one thing without giving it slander, okay? I know that sounds kind of stupid. You may want to remain biased to a certain player or a certain ideology that you have, but I'm not going to be doing that in today's video, okay? There will be some slander thrown around for each one of these 10 guys, because each one of these 10 guys has went through some type of slander in their careers, but there is nothing but greatness here, okay? So, always look at things on both sides, okay? And this will be in order. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. So,
welcome to a brand
the
new
NBA
episode
Finals
of NBA.
just wrapped up, okay? Now, a lot of people started throwing out their top 10 lists when, you know, Curry won his first Finals MVP this year, and the Golden State Warriors just won the championship sometime last week, okay? Now, let me be clear and say that this list is not, by all means, the most accurate list. I factored in, I should have put this in the disclaimer section, but whatever. I factored in their career accolades, or their career accolades, their stats, as well as my overall opinion of their overall body of work, okay? So, yeah, I hope you guys agree with this list. I posted this list on Facebook, and a lot of people actually seem to like my list, so I may have come up with a damn good list. So, let's go ahead and get started right off with number 10, Bill Russell. Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, oh my god, Crazyspartan's got 11 rings. Okay, listen. On his career, Bill Russell, he, I don't even know why I didn't put his career averages down here. Hold on just 1 minute. I thought I had put his career averages here, but his career averages are 15.1 points per game. He averaged 22.5 rebounds per game, as well as 4.3 assists per game, okay? Now, Bill Russell is widely regarded as, you know, one of the greatest players to ever do it, okay? He has the most rings by far of any NBA player. He's got more rings than most, you know, franchises have, which is absolutely crazy to think. Now, like I said, he is an 11-time champ, he's a 12-time All-Star, and he has 5 regular season MVPs. Now, I don't think Finals MVPs were tracked at this time, but if they were, I'm damn sure he would have won at least 9 or 10 of them. Like, let's just be honest. Bill Russell was probably the best player on that team. You know, he had Havlicek, and he had, like, players like that. But back in the day, and this is the one thing I'm going to slander on Bill Russell, they only had 10 teams back in the day, okay? So the talent wasn't as widely dispersed as it is now, and I believe that's why a lot of people put him low on their list, because a lot of the teams that he faced, I mean, people called him milkmen, they called him mailmen, or whatever else you want to call them. But listen, you got to face the talent that's in front of you, and that's going to be a disclaimer that I also want to make in this video. These players faced the talent that was in front of them, you know. So it is what it is. But yeah, the only thing I can, you know, use for slander on Bill Russell's name is that Finals MVPs weren't tracked, so that kind of hurts his ranking a bit, and he only faced 10 teams back in the day. Okay. Now, moving on to number 9, we have Larry the Legend Bird. Okay, Larry Bird. I know some of you guys really like Larry Bird. I think he's a top 3 small forward of all time. I would put him up there with the likes of, you know, Kevin Durant. Now I know there's going to be some slander there as well. If you guys want to see me do a position-based list, y'all drop a like on this video. I really would appreciate it. Also, this list took me a long time. I've been working on this list for 2 days, so I hope you guys enjoy this list. We've got 3 people watching the video. What's up? Everybody stop by. Larry Bird, 3-time champ, 2-time Finals MVP, 3 regular season MVPs, career averages with 24.3 points per game, 10 rebounds, 6.3 assists. Now, Larry Bird, like I said, he's widely regarded as one of the best small forwards to ever do it. You know, and his talent was next level, okay? Just to show you how big of a baller this guy was, this man is savage. In one of the 3-point contests, I don't remember what year it was, you know, one of you guys can drop it down there in the chat or comment section below. This man literally done the 3-point contest in damn warm-ups and won the contest in warm-ups. This man was a savage, bro. You know, he played with Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish. He played with some of the greatest Celtics to ever do it, some Hall of Famers. But the one thing I can, you know, slander Larry Bird on is the fact that he ran into a rookie, or I think a rookie or a sophomore Michael Jordan, where, you know, Michael Jordan dropped that legendary 60-point game in the Garden, not the Garden, but the Celtics arena, and he said it was God disguised as Michael Jordan. Now, Larry Bird was already an established player in the league at the time. Michael Jordan was just coming in there, and Michael Jordan put his stamp on Larry Bird's career. Right, I'm going to say it once and I'll say it again. Yeah, Larry Bird went on to win, you know, several championships in the 80s. Cool, whatever. So did one of the next guys we're going to talk about on this list, okay? But Larry Bird, phenomenal player, but he just ranks here because, you know, like I said, he ran into Michael Jordan those couple of times, and, you know, that's really that. Moving on to number 8, we have Mr. Wardell Stephen Curry, a.k.a. the babyface assassin, whatever you want to call him, the greatest shooter of all time. Broke Ray Allen's 3-point record this year, and he changed the game forever. 4-time NBA champion. He got the Finals MVP this year. 2 regular season MVPs. One of those unanimous. 24.3 points per game on his career. 4.6 rebounds. 6.5 assists. Now, some of these players are still in the league. Let me see. 1, 2. 2 of them are still in the league. Okay, it's Curry and LeBron. Spoiler alert, LeBron's obviously. But Curry changed the game forever. Okay, no team or no player has ever shot the ball like Stephen Curry. Okay, you could argue Ray Allen would shoot the ball. You could argue that Reggie Miller would shoot the ball. You know, whatever, right? But they were not taking shots at the difficulty and the degree of, you know, like I said, difficulty that Curry was, and the fact that Curry is probably one of the most double-team players in the finals of all time. Like, literally, you know Curry has the biggest impact on the court when players are literally double-teaming, triple-teaming, okay? The man was literally double-teamed in the 2018 finals. And guess who else was on that 2018 finals team? Kevin Durant. Kevin freaking Durant, widely regarded as the greatest scorer of all time, if not the greatest scorer in the league right now. Kevin Durant was on that team, and Curry was getting double teamed. It just shows you his impact, his gravity. Okay, a lot of people use the word gravity to describe Stephen Curry's impact on the court, and it's no shortage of a word for Curry. He just has a lot of gravity. Okay, now, like I said, I will praise players in this game, or in this video, and I will also slander them. Now, some of the things that slander Curry's career, obviously his injuries early on. A lot of people, Golden State really didn't even want to give him a contract at first because of his injury history. Hell, I would even argue if Curry stayed healthy a majority of his career, he might have had, maybe one more MVP, maybe one more championship. I don't know. But, he couldn't stay healthy, for the earlier parts of his career. Some people say that he was a choker, that he couldn't show up in big moments, and I can only recall one time where that happened. Game 6, Game 7, 2016 NBA Finals, where, they had the 3-1 lead against, the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James and everything like that. You could argue that if Draymond Green hadn't been thrown out of the game, I think it was Game 5 or Game 6 he was thrown out, the Warriors would have won the championship. You could argue that if Curry didn't throw his damn mouthpiece and catch a temper tantrum, maybe they would have won the championship, but that's neither here or there. Some of the plays he made in that finals were, inexcusable. The behind-the-back pass to Klay Thompson that flew out of bounds, that should not have happened. The fact that he got locked up by Kevin Love on the perimeter should not have happened. But yeah, that 2016 finals run, that was one of the biggest slanders on Curry's career. Okay, so, but still widely regarded as is the greatest shooter of all time, and Curry ranks in at number 8. Moving on to number 7, I have Mr. Timmy Duncan, aka the Big Fundamental, whatever you want to call him. Now, Tim Duncan's career, I would say, is probably one of the more well-rounded ones. I wouldn't call it a perfect career. He would have been 6-0 in the finals had it not been for Ray Allen, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But, widely regarded as one of the greatest power forwards, if not the greatest power forward of all time, which I have him as my greatest power forward of all time, next to Hakeem, the Dream of Olajuwon, obviously. So, 5-time champ, 3-time finals MVP, 2 regular season MVPs, 19 points per game, 10.8 rebounds, 3 assists per game. Now, Tim Duncan, he had Manu Ginobili, he had Tony Parker on his team, he had David, the Admiral Robinson on his team for a couple of those championships, and I believe the only 2 finals MVPs that he lost out on were, actually, now that I look at it, he didn't win the one in 2014, that was Kawhi Leonard. I believe David Robinson might have got one of those finals MVPs. Maybe Tony Parker might have got one, I think. I don't really remember. But, the reason I say Tim Duncan has one of the more well-rounded careers is, like I said, he played all of his time on one team, which is very rare, even in today's league, even back then it was pretty rare. Very, very good longevity for Tim Duncan. We've had some of the greatest seasons of all time, and like I said, the only slander that I have against Tim Duncan was that 2013 finals. Obviously, you know, LeBron James was probably the best player in the world at that time, and you know, LeBron was on a crashing course. You know, he was looking for his second championship after winning the 2012 against the Thunder. You know, the Spurs were literally one rebound away from winning a championship, and I believe Tim Duncan actually got subbed out of the game to not get that rebound. Bosh grabbed it and threw it out to Ray Allen. You know, you could argue that's, you know, one of the reasons why LeBron has 4 rings right now, right? He would have only had 3, maybe even 2 had it not been for Ray Allen, right? But like I said, really, that 2013 finals loss was really the only slander that I have against Tim Duncan. Maybe y'all have some other slanders down there in the comment section below or in the chat, but personally, that's the only one I can really figure out. So, I have Tim Duncan at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have the big Aristotle, the big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal, okay? Shaq, the most dominant player of all time, okay? A lot of people would put Bill Russell in there. A lot of people would put Will Chamberlain in there. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, oh my God, Crazyspartan, why don't you have Will Chamberlain in this? Will Chamberlain, he didn't win enough, in my opinion. Yeah, he had some of the most stupid stats we've ever seen in the league, ever. But really, stats don't tell the whole story. Accolades carry a lot of weight. But I have Shaquille O'Neal at number 6, 4-time champ, 3-time finals MVP. He has 1 regular season MVP under his belt with career averages of 23.7 points per game, 10.9 rebounds per game, and he has 2.3 blocks now for his career. Now, like I said, Shaquille O'Neal, probably the greatest or the most dominant player of all time. The man cannot be stopped. Once he got in the paint, once he began to move you around, it was a wrap, okay? He faced some of the best big men in the league at the time. I mean, he's faced the likes of, you know, Tim Duncan. Yao Ming was a really good big man. Hakeem Olajuwon was another good big man. So, he faced a lot of those guys, and, you know, I mean, he just made it look easy. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day. Obviously, the early 2000s were ran by Shaq and Kobe and the Lakers, which Kobe was a little bit. Him and Kobe made up the biggest 1-2 punch in the league. They're probably one of the best duos to ever do it. You know, and it just shows that, you know, Shaq was one of the most dominant players of all time, right? One of the biggest slanders I have against Shaq, though, is that his work ethic hadn't been a whole lot better, and Kobe Bryant himself even talked about it, that if Shaq had been in the gym and worked out, he would have, Kobe said he would have had at least, like, you know, 10 or 11 rings. And I agree, because there was no stopping that duo. Shaq and Kobe, they were, you know, they were on it, okay? Shaq was eating cheeseburgers before every game. He didn't really care about his body. You can see it evidently in his career, like later on, like in his Boston days, his you know, Miami days even, he was big. So his work ethic kind of throws him down lower in this list. You know, like I said, I was looking into this list and I was looking at the overall body of work on all these players. So I feel like his work ethic is one of the things that throws Shaq down further into this list. Moving in at number 5, our top 5, we have Magic. Magic, one of the greatest passers to ever do it, one of the greatest players to ever do it. 5-time champ, 3-time finals MVP, 3 regular season MVPs, 19.5 points per game, 7.2 rebounds, 11.2 assists. Magic, Irvin, Johnson, Magic Johnson, whatever you want to call him. Like I said, widely regarded as one of the greatest players to ever do it. Played in the Showtime era with the likes of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you had, you know, James Worthy. He had, I think it was Dennis Johnson on that team. They had some really phenomenal players on that team back in the day, and Magic was just, I mean, a phenomenal passer. I mean, there was one game where he played center in the finals. I believe one of their big men got hurt. He was asked to play center in the finals, and that's not his natural position. But I think at 6'9", I mean, literally, he could do anything. You know what I'm saying? He was like the LeBron James of the 90s, or the early 80s, I should say. I mean, the man literally played center in a finals game and literally won the finals MVP because of that. I mean, and I believe he was the only one to receive finals MVP as a rookie. So that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the fact that he was doing all that as a rookie and continued to do it earlier on in his career or later on in his career was absolutely stupid. And, I mean, just crazy. One of the slanders that I have against Magic Johnson was the whole AIDS debacle. Now, let me be clear, okay? I'm not sitting here saying, oh my God, he's so stupid because he got AIDS. Like, no, I mean, stuff happens. But if he would have took better care of his body, I mean, you know, that's kind of a personal choice that he made back in the day. I mean, I don't think, you know, players really cared back in the day. I mean, whatever, that could be an argument made for, you know, another time. But had he taken better care of his body, you know, I could argue that Magic Johnson would probably be maybe even higher on this list, but because of him retiring from his AIDS diagnosis and, you know, him not really taking care of his body, he would drop lower in this list at number 5.
15-16.
Hold on just a minute. Gotta send some of these texts back. So yeah, so Magic comes in at number 5. Moving on to number 4, we have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, aka Lou Alcindor, whatever you want to call him, whatever you know him best as. Now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I feel like his career is similar to Tim Duncan's in the fact that he doesn't really have a big blemish on his career. You know what I'm saying? I like maybe the only thing I could argue in his career as like a big, you know, like kind of, you know, slander or whatever was the fact that his longevity kind of just ran out or whatever. But I mean, look, one of the best league resumes like of all time. 6-time champion, 2 finals MVPs, 6 regular season MVPs. I think he has the most regular season MVPs of all time. Jordan falls right behind him, which Jordan being this list, obviously. 24.6 points per game, 11.2 rebounds per game, as well as 3.6 assists per game. Like I said with Tim Duncan, he just had one of the better careers of all time. I mean, like, statistic-wise, you know, accolades-wise, I mean, he just had one of the best careers of all time. I mean, the man won 6 MVP awards. That's absolutely ridiculous. And he was doing all this back in the 70s and in the 80s, okay? Like, you could argue that Kareem literally had 2 decades just dedicated to him, the 70s and the 80s. I mean, he was, well, he started slowing down in the 80s, but that's besides the point, okay? Like, you could argue that those 2 decades belong to him, okay? I mean, but like I said, really, one of the only big slanders I could probably come up with for Kareem was that his longevity just wasn't as long as some of the players on this list, which the next player we're going to talk about has probably the best longevity we've ever seen in the league, and we're going to segue right into this number 3 pick with LeBron James. Okay, now I know some of you guys are thinking, oh God, there's far away now, LeBron number 10. Listen, for number 3, listen. Okay, LeBron is one of the greatest ever. Okay, there's no debate, there's no discussion. Okay, the man's longevity is unseen, it's unheard of. We've never seen a player that has carried the game the way that LeBron has, right? I mean, the man is a 4-time champion, 4-time Finals MVP. He's got 4 MVPs. The man is basically the number 4 personified. Okay. I mean, you know, with career averages as of right now, because he's still playing, him and Curry, 27.1 points per game, 7.5 rebounds per game, and 7.4 assists per game. Now, a lot of people just have LeBron as their GOAT because of his longevity, and don't get me wrong, longevity plays a big part in, you know, your accolades and your stats or whatever else like that. But listen, longevity is, I feel like, a generational thing. Like, just imagine if, you know, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, a lot of these players, imagine if a lot of these players had the technology that we have today. Like, you know, LeBron spends $1 million a year on his body, okay? Now, back in the day, obviously, you know, like, pay worked differently, you know, things were cheaper back then, you know, obviously, you know, things weren't as expensive as they are now. But you could argue that, you know, LeBron's longevity is a generational thing, and, you know, had he been in the league back in, you know, Beans and Bill Russells and Dennis Rodman's, like, physical players like Will Chamberlain, you could argue that his longevity might have ran out back in the day. But that's an argument that might sound stupid to some of you guys, but, you know, a lot of people throw it up, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people say, well, you know, if you would have played back in the day, you would have averaged like 50 a game. Like, no, LeBron would have got killed back in the day. Like, man's literally complaining about cramps, man literally flopping all the time. Like, no, LeBron would have got murdered back in the day. Like, physically, yes, he would have got murdered, but his stature, his frame would have made him like one of the better players, maybe. But like I said, it goes both ways. I'll give a player his praise, but I will slander him in any way that I possibly can, or any way that I see fit. One of the biggest slanders in LeBron's career is the fact that he got swept in the finals twice. Okay? Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, oh my God, when he got swept the first time, he wasn't as experienced. Listen, anytime you run into Tim Duncan in the finals and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili and all them, you know what I'm saying? You're bound to hit a snag somewhere. And then that 2018 finals run, yeah, you could argue, Jim Durant was on that team. Oh my God, they were unstoppable. Well, listen, nobody told Lil GM, you know, to come up with that sorry ass team back. Okay, nobody wants to go to Cleveland. Okay, regardless of what y'all may say about LeBron, you know, his longevity, I mean, he's one of the greatest to ever do it, but listen, those 2 sweeps in the finals and that, what was it, 4-6 finals record, like, it will forever remain a blemish on his career, and that's why I have him at number 3. Moving in at number 2, we have the Black Mamba himself, Kobe Bryant. Okay, Kobe Bryant, probably the 2nd greatest shooting guard of all time, the 2nd greatest player of all time, in my opinion. 5-time champ, 2-time Finals MVP, 1 regular season MVP, 25 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, along with 4.7 assists per game. Rest in peace to the Black Mamba, one of the greatest players that ever do it. I mean, his career body of work, like his footwork, his work ethic make him one of the greatest players of all time. He just had some of the greatest players on his team. You know, he made it work. He was a pretty good teammate. You know, that was evident with Paul Gasol and Shaq in their early runs. But one of the greatest scorers to ever do it. You know, 2 of the big slanders that I could see, you know, on Kobe's resume. You know, obviously, the fact that a lot of people called him a ball hog. You know, he took some really bad shots in his career, but, you know, when you have the scoring acumen that Kobe had, you know what I'm saying? You know, he could do it. You know what I'm saying? Because he was Kobe Bryant. If he took a bad shot at one end, he would make a great defensive play on the other end, and he would make up that bad shot, right? But that's just one of those things that I could slander Kobe with. Next one is the lack of regular season MVPs. Now, that's subjective. That's for another day. A lot of people would argue that those two MVPs don't belong to Steve Nash, and I would agree. Kobe was on a crash course that year, and he should have won those MVPs or whatever, but that's for another day. That's for another discussion. But Kobe, the second greatest player of all time, in my opinion. And coming in at number one to wrap up this live stream, we have the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan. Okay, Michael Jordan, 6-time champ, 6-time Finals MVP, 5 regular season MVPs, 30.1 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 5.3 assists. Now, obviously, Michael Jordan, his overall body of work was similar to Kobe's, had a legendary work ethic. Obviously, Kobe got that from Jordan, his killer instinct, one of the greatest clutch players to ever do it. I mean, really, there's not much you can slander Jordan with, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he had one of the greatest careers of all time, similar to Kareem and, Tim Duncan or whatever, but Jordan just done it against some of the greatest competition of all time, A lot of people will say, the whole, his last 2 championships against, aging, Jazz team or whatever, this team right here, Jordan was actually older than one of their best players, you know what I'm saying? In Karl Malone. That regular season MVP that went to Karl Malone, it just fueled Jordan's fire even more. And, obviously Michael Jordan, one of the greatest to ever do it of all time. Some of the slanders that I have against Jordan, though, the gambling scandal that took place for him to retire the first time. Listen, it's one of the biggest conspiracies in the league. Obviously, a player of Jordan's stature, he didn't really care about the outside publicity at the time because it wasn't as big as it is now. Like, if fucking LeBron James went to the casino and started gambling, dude would be slandered for real. Like, dude would be killed nowadays. But back in the day, it was normal. You had fucking Dennis Rodman taking vacations, like, in the middle of the season to go to Las Vegas. Michael Jordan had to go get my mans. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, obviously publicity, social media wasn't even a thing, obviously. But the gambling scandal is one of those things that I can use on Michael Jordan's career as a blemish. Another thing, when he retired the first time, due to, his dad getting murdered and everything like that, and just him losing passion for the game. Michael Jordan, had he not retired that first time, he would have probably been an 8-time champ and an 8-time Finals MVP. They would have beat the Houston Rockets, both of those times, I would say, if they met both of those times. But that's neither here or there. That can be used as a discussion for another day and another time. And the last slander I have on Michael Jordan's career, he is one of the worst general managers of all time, like one of the worst owners of all time. Drafting Kwame Brown and, having that, 15 or 14 win season with the Hornets back in, I think it was like 2010, 2011. I forgot what season it was. And him going to Washington was also a big blemish on his career. Like, he should have just retired when he won that last championship back in the 97-98 season. But that's another debate for another discussion as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this top 10 list of all time. If you guys have any questions or, if you guys have anything y'all want to say, y'all drop it down there in the comment section below. But thank you guys for stopping by. I really do appreciate the support you guys have been offering on the channel. The content's going to be keeping on going, so y'all keep on, showing the support, and the content will be here. But regardless of that, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Y'all drop a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Make sure your notifications are turned on so that way you don't miss a video when I upload. And as always, you guys, y'all stay motivated, stay dedicated. Always have that Mamba mentality. And I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace out.